What's up? It's Marina Simone. Welcome to Messy to Millions, where we are going to literally interview all the messy female entrepreneurs out there and ask them what is their plan to getting to millions? How did they get to millions? And we're going to highlight some tools that work for me, that's worked for them. We're also going to get raw, real, and relatable. And we're also going to keep it 100. I think that's the most important piece. So, if this is your first time to my podcast, anything we ever talk about will be in the show notes, but here's the coolest piece is we want you to feel good. We want you to feel worthy. We want you to feel seen. And I think this world of digital marketing, coaching, network marketing, affiliate marketing has put so much emphasis on what successful women look like that we can forget that success is not just what's in our bank account, but it's also what we create for our families. And so I really hope that this podcast does that for you, reminds you that you're here for a reason, reminds you that you are worthy of a movement, you are worthy of success, you are worthy of peace and joy and all of those things. And that's it. And I hope you enjoy this episode. I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Ace. Ace Gems is absolutely amazing. I personally use this for my network marketing business for our team. And I've got to tell you that it has changed the game as far as sending information, sending out a website, even for my brand. I know what it feels like to send out a link to somebody. They say they're going to watch a video and they don't. But what's really cool is what if you sent that link to them and then the second they click to watch the video, you got a notification and you knew exactly who it was that watched the video. Well, that's what Ace Gems does. It's also, in my opinion, going to replace a lot of the social media networks where you aren't seeing notifications. I truly believe that Facebook groups are going to be shifted into Ace in their community campfires. And anyway, I'm obsessed. So's our network marketing team. You can check out more about Ace below.
Last year was a great year. We're restructuring how we do a bit of things in our business. My health has improved. I've lost all of the menopause, whatever bullshit was happening to me.
You look so good. You look
Thanks.
smoking hot. I was looking at your pictures on the Facebook. That's how old I am. Looking at Facebook the other day and I was like, okay, I see you, Shamina. I see you.
I feel good. I'm going to be 54 in June, so I feel really
Oh,
good.
that's
And
exciting.
my skin looks young still. I've been doing a lot of peptides, like just NADs and this
Yes.
one, I don't know, whatever my naturopath, my concierge doctors suggest, I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. I just
Oh,
literally work for NAD. I just literally work for peptides right now. And so
I
um,
think so many of us are working for peptides.
that's it. And then I just want to plan a good summer. My kids are thriving. My kids are just thriving. They're most amazing children and are happy. And I don't know. I want to do things a little bit differently. I want to speak more. So as soon
Yeah.
as I decided that, I just got asked to speak on a stage. A woman was following my work, and she said that my work changed her life. She was supposed to come to my event in Chicago, and she ended up ending a 5-year relationship. And she runs this big women's event every year in New York. And she just asked me to give the keynote to that, which is fantastic. There's, I don't know, 500 plus women that are going to be there. And I think I spoke 5 or 6 times this week. And it's just nice. Someone else was in my inbox saying, hey, I'm doing an event. Would you come and speak? So I'm just out there. And this is what my actual astrology chart says, is that this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I told my team we were going to be setting up back end systems and having more funnels that just create passive income and funneling people into my high ticket and not doing a lot of that hustling every single day, but just really
Yeah.
having proper systems and play like to scale our business to where we want to
Yeah.
go.
I love that. The fact that you just said, I literally just had a conversation, I don't know, with Cynthia Stant, literally like earlier this week, and same thing, ecosystem, right? Having that ecosystem to support the people that come in and sift and sort so we can create that passive energy. I think the hustle is, we were talking about the hustle, how it's changed, shifted for 2026 for so many of us, like high achieving women, high performing women, because it's just, I want to hustle with purpose. I don't want to just hustle for a buck, right? I want to hustle with purpose. And I love that you're like speaking. When I saw you speak on our stage, first, you spoke at my summit virtually. and I fell in love with you. And immediately I started sending your book to everyone on my network marketing team, everyone that was on my branding team. I'm like, you have to read her book. You have to read this. You don't understand. I remember 3 chapters in, I was like, this is so different than any law of attraction book I've ever read. And I just started sharing you with everybody because I became obsessed, which is totally whatever. I'm stalkerish. I don't care. And I started to stalk you. And then I was like, how can I get her in front of my team on stage? When you were on stage, the whole energy in the room was so magnetically like to you. And I just remember after that event, our team just having some really great momentum because they felt connected to themselves. And so I want to talk a little bit about what you do because I want my audience to get to know you like I have because I've fallen in love with how you teach, who you are, what you stand for. So tell everybody a little bit about Shamina Taylor because I'm going to give you the best intro ever. It's going to be so nerdy when you hear it. But tell them from you, who are you? How did you get into this work and why you've fallen in love with helping women?
My name is Shamina Taylor, and just a little blurb about me. I've helped 51 women become millionaires or multimillionaires. And as of yesterday, I've helped 360 women hit their highest cash months. I believe that I'm a limit breaker for most women. Most women have that glass ceiling above them. When they come into my space, I show them that's just that invisible ceiling that they live under is just that it's invisible. So I show them what it takes to shift that identity in order for them to really see what their earning potential, but also their living potential is, and for them to go way bigger than they were before. And a lot of women are unfortunately playing small, and because a lot of them fear their power. And I want to bring that power out. And I do it through many different ways, like an abundance thinking mindset. I do it in a place where we heal emotions that have been holding us back. I do it with shifting the beliefs. And if you want to get technical, I'm rewiring your neural pathways to have a new belief system that's expansive for you. But I'm also helping you regulate your nervous system so you can go bigger and hold more and be seen fully in the power that you possess. And at the end of the day, energetically, that puts you on a high new frequency where you become the queen of your world and you make big impact in the world. And I want every woman to be unapologetic. I think we were raised to apologize, and I want people to just take up space now. And so for me, it's like you don't have to explain why you want something. You don't have to explain why you're doing anything. You don't have to justify anything. You just get to go do it. And when women are working with me afterwards, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is exactly how I want to feel." And I don't need to say sorry anymore. I don't need to be a people pleaser. I don't need to dim my light or turn my voice down. I get to be as grand as I want to be. And because of that, I think we develop better leaders. Our children see themselves in us and their self-worth goes up. Both of my children have regulated nervous systems, and people don't understand what that means. But because of that, they have healthy attachments. So their attachment styles are way different than mine was. And the way that they have healthy relationships, how they see themselves, their self-confidence. My children to me are my greatest wealth. And if I could get more women to have this transformation, we're not just changing them, but we're changing like generational timelines with this work.
I literally made a post a couple months ago about we don't talk about generational love enough. And I have to say that, like, when I started hearing you talk about this with your children, like, it really inspired me to take a look at, as a mom, like, who I am as a mother, not just a business owner, not just a multimillionaire, not just all the like accolade things, but what am I doing as a mother to my kids to create, like you said, like, I don't want to create a wound for them that later on they have to deal with. And so, that was really inspiring. Where do you see, I'm going to totally go a different direction right now because it's just what's coming to me right now. Where do you see moms dimming their light the most? Mothers, period. I'm just curious if you've seen like any kind of patterns or,
Yeah, of course, I'm a pattern reader. That's one of my
yeah.
top gifts. So they don't give to themselves first. They give to everybody else. So they're holding the capacity of their whole entire world, their business, and their home life on top of their shoulders, and they rarely ask for help. And so they say yes, they do for everyone, but when it's time for her to pour into herself, this is where she feels guilty doing it, or other people need me. And so most women, moms, they self-abandon themselves. They self-abandon themselves with their inner work. They self-abandon themselves with what they desire. Like, you get to go get that massage and your family's not going to fall apart. You get to go get your nails done. You get to go, you know what, if you just want to sit in your bed and just watch Netflix for a few hours, why not? The laundry can stay for a minute, or better yet, hire somebody to do all of that. And this is where I feel like a lot of women who are, before they can hit $1 million, they're in this moment where they really are like at this, I'm going to do everything energy. I'm going to answer the phones. I'm going to not get this help, the support team. I'm going to still do my laundry, all grocery shopping. Nobody should be grocery shopping at this point in game. I don't care if you get a little beat up avocados, it's okay. But this is where they're like, I can do all by myself. And then when I ask her, did you go buy the thing for yourself? No, it doesn't. It just feels like a waste of money. I could be doing this for my kids. And so I have found a really great balance of pouring into my children and myself. And I feel because of that, my kids know that it's okay to ask for what they want. Their voice actually matters and they matter. And so they should never self abandon themselves, even if it comes to their significant other, their friends, or even me. And that's important.
Give me an example, because I know there's a lot of moms listening. They're like, okay, give me an example.
Of
Give me an example of how the I'm going to do everything energy is like with the kids, because you have balance, right? You said I found a balance.
Okay, here's an example. If you're still waking your kids up in the morning, that's a problem. Like, your kids should be waking up on their own in the morning. Your kids should be doing their own laundry at a certain point. They should be having chores. I give my kids everything, but they need to have, it's pride and it's them taking initiative to do things. And I don't believe we can spoil children at any point. I don't believe that at all. But I also believe that it's also good for them to build confidence, and it takes things off your plate. It's like you need to learn to delegate at home, and you also need to learn to delegate in your business. And so what I see a lot of women doing is they will get up at 5 a.m. to just get their workout in, to get the food ready, breakfast for their kids. They'll go and get their kids out of bed. They'll drive their kids to school. They will do, and not saying driving your kids to school is not a fun thing. That could be one thing that you keep, but they'll go put the pressure on themselves. And what this does is it dysregulates your nervous system to be under this kind of stress on day in, day out. And this is why women hit capacity and burn out. And so I see them trying to be all things to everybody, except the only thing that your kid really wants is emotional support. And because you're so fucking tapped out on your emotions, you can't give your kids shit afterwards. It's like, don't talk to me about that. I can't handle that, because emotionally you can't give them anything because you're not feeding into yourself.
No, right there. You just like that just nailed it. It's the emotional support that they want. When I think about anything that my 6-year-old wants, it's always, can you play with me like on the floor? Or can I tell you about my day? Or let me tell you this crazy idea I have. And I used to shoo it away with my oldest, who's now about to be 16, because I was literally like, I don't have time. Every second, I've got to be on my business. I've got to be doing that. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And so that emotional support piece, ooh, that hits
It's
like fire.
presence that your children want. But if you can't be present with yourself because you're so dysregulated, you have to be on all the time. Women who come to me or in their wounded masculine, they don't know how to sit still. They have to perform because one of their core wounds is unworthiness. So they're seeking validation. Look what all the things that I can do. Now give me that pat on the back. Look at all the accolades. Look what I can achieve, because they're looking for that reaffirmation that they're worthy. Meanwhile, with that emptiness, they're just passing that on to their children. And women don't heal their wounds, they create the mother wound. And I was not going to do that to my children. So your inner work, your self mastery is so important, your emotions, working through your stuff. And like, my book is one of the first steps to going through that pattern and then coming to work with me. But that is a crux of it. And so when we can do that, then you can relax a bit. That's when that feminine energy starts coming out, where you can relax and know this is why this is the change of the business, is no more hustle culture. Hustle is dysregulation. So if you can relax and let that feminine flow, you're in that receivership. Then if you slow down, it doesn't mean you're stopping. In fact, the slowdown, I believe, is where the millions are made. It's that moment of the beingness where you can go, regulate, hold more wealth, hold more opportunities, really get in alignment with self. And I think when women make this shift, massive things happen.
Yeah. When did that point happen for you? Because I know you shared it in your book, but for those that are listening before they read the book, like when did this like moment of holy crap, I need to make these shifts happen for you? Because you were a very successful lawyer, right? You were very successful in your career and you came to this point where you're like, I have to change everything. And what was that moment for you?
When you read my book, or you listen to my podcast, and if you've been around my world, it was the yoga moment. I was just finished a bodybuilding competition, and I was the fittest I'd ever been in my life, top shape body. And I had two yogis in my life, and one of them was also competing with me. And the news wanted to do a segment on her, so they were going to do B-roll at her yoga studio. So she said, "Do you want to come?" Hey, I want to be on TV. So I said, "I'll go there." So we go into this studio, and I'll never forget like the incense and the steam on the walls. I'm like, this is my moment to be a star. Get in this yoga studio wearing my top Lulu outfit. She had my mat down. I go down on the mat. We start the class. Before that, though, I went to the cameraman and I said, "Hey, make sure you don't pan on me too much because I don't know what I'm doing." But basically, I was saying to the cameraman, "Okay, I'm here. You can watch me now." Anyway, we started this class and she was doing all these dog downs, and I was getting so upset with her because she was showing off. We didn't need to do that much. Just like he was just taking B-roll, relax a little. I was sweating over here. Then at one point, she started asking us if we were happy, and then she said, "Put your leg one way, put your leg the other way. Are you happy? Are you living the life of your dreams?" And as I'm just trying to get through this pose, dying, I'm holding on to this little quirky thing and my body's trembling and I'm forcing it because you give me a challenge at that state of my life and I'm going to crush it. There's no way there's a can't, won't, don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
No.
And
Yeah.
so I'm in this moment pushing through and my body physically is fighting back. And I'm like, no, no pain, no gain. So I'm pushing, pushing. And all of a sudden, like this pain just took over me. And I'm like, the pain was so excruciating. I went to this brink and all of a sudden I just started bawling. And she's like, you kept talking to the yogi stuff. I started bawling. And all of a sudden I just had this and this pain turned into emotional pain. And I just sobbed and I just started crying, the ugliest cry I ever could in my life. It's like I had the dam just broke, right? Whatever I would push down, all those emotions of being the ice queen, all those years of thought, pushing it down, not feeling something, it just finally exploded. And I was sitting there going, I don't know who Shamina is anymore. I did everything I was supposed to do. Became a lawyer. I had the $1 million house. I had the man that loved me. I had two kids, a boy and a girl. We lived the most beautiful life. We went to Europe in the summertime. We went to the Caribbean in the winter. We had our dream cars. It was just perfect. And I still felt unfulfilled and there was something missing. I stayed there for 45 minutes, cried. And then after that, I got up and I was like, something in my life has to change. I couldn't unsee that moment. And that was the moment that changed everything. I went on a very deep spiritual journey after that. I had to figure out, how did I go through life that long? I was like 40 at the time, living with my eyes so closed, not knowing that I was in survival for so long and that I was just barely holding on by a thread, even though I was so highly successful.
That you said Ice Queen. I love that because I literally there was a song back in the day. It was like cold, like cold. I don't remember something about how being a woman with a cold heart. And my husband used to call me the Black Widow because I was such an ice queen. So when you said that, I could relate to that so much because it was literally like I got to get it done. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it done. I'm gonna push through. Beauty is pain. Pain is right. Like the whole thing. And I was miserable. Didn't matter what my bank account looked like. I was just so freaking tired. I felt like I was pretending and smiling and I didn't know that I was pretending. I think that's the other piece is like I didn't know I was pretending until I had my breakdown that then became a breakthrough. So here's my question for you. Women have breakdowns. They have their moments crying in the closet. They have their moments where they don't want to go in the house because they're sitting in the car and they know they got dinner and this and that. These women are having these breakdowns, but they're not having the breakthroughs. Why?
Because they're not doing the work on the other side to figure out why the breakdown happened. So
Mm,
they're feeling the top emotion and they're not going to the root of the emotion. And that's where I had to get to the root of the emotion because their triggers still lived inside of them without they have emotional reaction, but they don't know how to respond. And so this is where the problem is. People are barely holding it together sometimes and they don't even realize it. My son drew me a picture of mom. I said, "What is this?" And he said, "That's you, mommy." And it was a stick figure laying sideways on the couch. That like hit home so hard because I was like, what the hell? That's how my kid drew me laying sideways, like laying down on the couch. And we just get into a state of survival. And I think the reason why women are shifting more into the the feminine and being easy and not hustling is because even with astrology right now, we've left that behind. We're going into a feminine era where we're going to be leading from a different place right now. And we're no longer signing up for suffering. It's no longer what we're going to do. And our nervous systems are no longer going to be put through the brink of disaster, and we're still going to be successful. So I feel like a lot of women are holding on because they just don't know how to transmute the energy that's inside of them. They don't know how to process the emotions out, because this is what happens. A traumatic situation happens, whatever, it freezes into you when you don't feel it all the way. So what I used to do is shut down the emotions, cut it off, shut down, and go perform. So I basically, you get an emotion and I would stop, but it didn't go anywhere. It just stayed inside of me. So I had all of these little emotions that just stayed inside of me that were stuck. And this is what happens to women. They'll feel it, it'll come to the surface, but it won't go anywhere. The way to get it out is to go through most of it. You've got to find out what's happening, do some inner child work, do some trauma release. You've got to be able to get to a place where you can cry. And a lot of women, they come to me, they haven't cried in years. And when they have that cry, I'm like, oh, we're on to something now, because she's just been like, "Ugh." And they wear it. They'll wear their armor. They'll wear their resting bitch face. They don't like to hug. They don't like to say, I love you. They're very shut down, and they have so much love inside of them, but the love can't get in or out when you're in that state. And that's where I was.
I was there. I like feel that on so many levels to where I don't even think I looked up to like, how pretty is the day today? What color is the sky? Oh, that's a pretty tree. Like I don't even, I'm so tunnel vision that I feel like it was just, what was that movie? Click with Adam Sandler. I felt like a lot of my life was just click, where I was like fast forwarding through, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, 10 years later, what have I been doing? I relate to that so much. So what happens to the women, right? They come and they work with you. When you see women that start doing this work, and why do they start pulling away? Because I know this happens with me with clients, right? They have the breakthrough, they start to feel, oh my gosh, but then all of a sudden they pull back instead of move forward. What are some of those reasons why you think they do that?
It feels unsafe.
Yeah.
So they're going to a place that's not, they're going, so right now their nervous system is regulated for discomfort, but it's a known discomfort. So they know this is why women trauma bond, they stay in toxic relationships because it's a known. So even though it's toxic, my nervous system is like aware of this toxicity. The moment that they go into a new pattern, a new identity, which is what happens with me, a new way of creating new pathways and a new regulation, the nervous system goes, oh shit, we got to go. We got to go. This is too much. I need to exit. And then when I help them and I show them where their core wounds are, that's when they're like, oh, you know what? Shamina is now the devil but
Ah,
I didn't implant the wound. But what happens is I show them where the trigger is, but somebody has to be blamed, because that's where their victimness comes in. I've got to blame somebody for this. It's her fault, because it's
mhm.
not self accountability, because you did something to me. And when we can clean up that victimness, things change. And then when women come to my space, they get very vulnerable and it gets scary sometimes. And if they can't process and go all the way, they will abandon. I
Yeah.
can help women make money right away and they think, oh, it's fixed. 1 month, I'm fixed. That's not it. It's accountability. You've got to implement, integrate, and then you can embody. And these are the steps that are missing. I give them awareness. They take action. But then the rest of the three, they do not stay sometimes all the way through. And when they do that, they self abandon. And guess what? They go deeper into the biggest fucking hole they could have ever gone in their lives. And then they're like, what happened now? And then they have to have someone to blame. That's what happens with a lot of people and they don't realize it. I don't like when people pedestal me. I am at the same level as you. I'm just a little bit far ahead. But the moment you pedestal me, I know that you are in a victim state and you're doing something where it's fawning. And I do not like when women fawn, because that's not your power, right? So their fight or flight will kick in if they fawn. And then I see it. So client selection is very important in the beginning, because I have to see, are you really ready for this work? Because with the women who do it, man, the results are so extraordinary. I always know when she's doing it because she shows up on the call, she does the work, she's doing the journaling, and she pushes through when she's hitting that spot. It's 8 weeks. We call it the quantum click. If a woman can stick to the program for the first 8 weeks, she will make millions. It will be a shift in her. Like, I just know it.
Yeah. I love that. Because I think, especially for women that are in the coaching business, right? And they have these clients that have these breakthroughs and then these clients pull back, or then they do. I've had that happen where I've become the enemy. So when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I became the enemy all of a sudden, but I was the breakthrough, but then I was the enemy for you. But then you know what? Circling back 5 years later, they always come back. And that to me is the best part is when 5 years later they're coming back and they're like, okay, I'm ready for the work again. So I love that.
Sometimes they do. And those ones are the ones that default the most, by the way, because they'll make their money back right away and then they'll stop paying. They'll be like something, something. And so I already know I already know where they're going to go with that. And it's unfortunate because if you just held on long enough,
Yeah.
you would have reaped the rewards.
Yeah. I love this whole trauma bond conversation because I used to do this, especially for those of you that know, like I'm bipolar. I don't walk with that identity anymore. Like I came out of that. But at the end of the day, my brain is a little bit different. So trauma bonding was something I did for so long with my mental illness. And I would say that a big part of like my like OMG moments was reading your book. It definitely helped me see things differently. Obviously, I read the Bible, like that's a big piece of me. But when you talk about trauma bonding and I look back to every relationship that I had, whether it was in business or whether it was in real life, that was the first place I would always go. Oh, we're a hot mess together. Oh, we're besties. And then it was just a negative like clip that we would play over and over. Like I really, when I look at some of the relationships I had, I'm like, why every conversation we had, it came back to the trauma bonding every time. Same conversation, we would just tell it in a different way. Why do we do
Well,
that?
because you didn't heal what was inside of you. Your wound and their wound are the same level, the same frequency, same vibration. So the only way that you're going to not trauma bond with anyone or that particular person anymore is find out the wound in you, heal that so it no longer identifies with their wound. So when you have your wound ready and available, this is your subconscious that's going to be attracting. It's never the conscious that attracts. It's always your subconscious. So if you like unawareness, like we didn't know that it's even in us. So women don't even know they're walking around with this stuff inside of them. But you show me your life and I'll show you the wound and I'll show you the pattern. It's never that the other person's wrong. It's that you are still allowing yourself to lower your standards and stay in a place that's low frequency. And that's why you're connecting with this person. The moment that people start healing in my world, they're like, they come to me and go, Shamina, I don't know. My friends are all drifting away. Like, what's happening? I feel so alone. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not even talking to some of my family anymore. Is it me? And I'm like, no, baby girl. I go, it's because now you're no longer mixing with those people when you were there. And people always want to commiserate and be with you when you're miserable. The moment that you start winning and shining, and if they're not doing their own work, they're going to start talking about you. And then you're just no longer a match. And that's just, if you understand how frequency works and you
Yeah.
understand it, then you'll know that this is working for you and not to you kind of situation, right? So I always say, oh, you are? I go, you're right on track. You're
Yeah.
doing
I love that. I love that.
they
Because
need
if
reaffirmation though, because they feel like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But you're shifting identity. The version of you that was friends or dating or married to that person has now outgrown. And unless those people around you grow with you, they're going to grow out of you. I just had this conversation a couple days ago with a gal, and she's been with this guy for a few years and they've married. She goes, I want to get divorced. And my version of me, she was just really broken ratchet. She's now she's making millions. And she goes, but he didn't change. I wouldn't date him now. And I don't want to be with him anymore. And so it's like he has to either put up or shut up, the kind of thing, because he's got to grow. And she keeps asking him to grow. And I go, you can't request someone to grow. I go, it's a choice, it's a personal thing. And so you have to make the choice because it starts with a decision. Do you want to stay? Because the longer you stay in those relationships that you've outgrown, you literally might as well burn your money because
Mm.
you are literally sitting in a state of suffering because you're being dishonest to yourself. You're not being truthful. It's not authentic to stay somewhere that you have outgrown.
And we're not signing up for suffering. I wrote that down when you said that. That was so
No.
good. We're not signing up for suffering. Oh, listen, if you haven't read Shamina's book, tell them a little bit about why you wrote this book because, and the name of your book, tell them all of this. I'll put it in the show notes for you guys. It is one of my favorite books, and I'm not like a woo-rah kind of chick. And so that I remember the first like paragraph, I was like, okay, I can read this book. Sure, but let's talk about it because I'm obsessed.
So the reason why I wrote this book is because I'm an avid reader. If you look at my library, I have lots and lots of books and I've read a lot of books. And when I was going through my healing I'd read probably 3 or 4 books a week because I didn't have a lot of money. So I needed to buy things that I could easily, a price point. And what I realized was that I'd gone to many different healers, so many different modalities, you name it, I've tried it. And it always came back to me being honest with myself and like, where am I sitting? So I had to become my own self healer. I had to become my own bullshit reader. And so this is like what I realized. Like I was a hothead. I was very triggered. I was not expressive right with my emotions. I had tons of friends. Like I was very social. I had a very high social calendar, but I was also really angry woman. Like I was very angry and I had not processed a lot of the trauma that I'd experienced in my life. And so for the past 13 years, I've grown as a woman. But before I wrote this book, I had already come to a place where when I was teaching, I was like, wait a minute. Women need to understand when they can master their emotions, they no longer have to hand their power over to anybody else. They get to decide how upset they want to be with what someone said or what someone did. They could either choose to let another person's behavior affect them or not. Because I was letting an incident happen to me when I was 16 years old steal from me every single day of my life. And when I decided to take my life back and not let that be a prevalent belief system and get myself out of a victim mindset, everything changed for me. I started doing the healing work. All right, I realized anger was on top of a deeper emotion. So that's why I would pop off all the time, right? Like I was ready to bust ass on the subway on anybody come to me, like, oh my hoops. I used to
Yep.
fight all the time because that's what I did. I didn't know how to express my emotions.
We took our hoops out. Yep.
Yeah. And even up until like I was in my 20s, I was like, great, actually, probably in my 30s, I was at a bar fight. Some lady was coming at me. And it's not something I'm proud of, but it was like, this is where I was. And I realized that I don't have to live like that anymore. I get to decide what affects me, what story I want to tell. And let me tell you, I was living the past over and over again like it was present today. And there's no way you can create a new reality pulling the past with you. There's no way. So I thought, if I can show women how to remove the things that are creating resistance and just be done with them, because when you work on a trigger, it literally goes down to nothing or it's a little blip. And so if you can understand how to master your emotions, then you can create your reality. Because one thing that Neville Goddard talks about is that feeling is the secret. Now, if a woman's the ice queen, or she is shut down, or she can't really master her emotions, how can she create the reality that she wants? Because it's not with your mind, is what you manifest with. It's with your emotional state. And if women understood that, then they could have everything. I know I can have it all. And it's the craziest thing because I was outperforming everybody else because they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just feel into the result and I'm going to get it. But if you can't feel, how the hell can you feel into the result? So going through this book, I bring up some shit
Yeah, you
for
do.
you, but I do it to
Yeah.
clean it out so you can have a clean slate, clean energy to create whatever it is you want. You can unlock what it's called 4 keys to unlocking the life of your dreams, because that's really what it is.
Oh, it really is. Isn't there an exercise in there where like we're supposed to cut the
Chords.
Yes, I did
Absolutely.
that outside. So I was by my beautiful pool.
Yep.
I did it. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, yes, I am. So I went outside and I put on some frequency music, like my jams, and I just did it. And I have to tell you, like, that was the first time I had ever done something because I've been at Tony Robbins events, love him, but it just never spoke to me. And I never felt it. And so when I did that exercise from your book, I remember with my dad, I just snipped. And can I tell, I live 15 minutes from my dad. And I
Oh,
haven't seen him since my 16-year-old was a year old. So I haven't talked to him, seen him, haven't run into him. But I literally, when I come out of my development, I pass the road that I used to go down when I lived with him. And for those of you that don't know, my dad sexually abused me. And so that was something that even though I didn't think about it every day, every time I passed that street, my energy changed. After I did that exercise, can I tell you that I'm talking about it now? So that it's gonna, maybe I'll see it, but I'm gonna cut the string again. But I literally had no emotion attached to that when I tell that story anymore, to when I talk about it on stage, to I don't hold that emotion when I pass that street anymore. And it was from that exercise. I don't know if I ever told you that, but
no, I never heard that. But I'm celebrating you because that's big. And now when we know it's neutralized, then we know it has no power over us. Like when
Yeah.
I tell the story now, when I see women still crying, I'm like, oh, baby, we still got to work on that, which is okay. No, nothing wrong. That just means that this thing still has a hold on you. And we got to get you to a place where it's just like neither good nor bad. It's just there. It's just, there's no charge to it.
None.
Now there's no charge.
None.
I had to do a lot of cord cutting with my father and my ex-husband. It was a couple of times for me, unfortunately, but I did. And I did a lot of like full moon. I did it all. I'm like, what is it I need to let go of? I'm going to burn the shit and I'm doing it all. I
Yeah.
just need to get
Let's
rid of
burn
it.
it all down. Let's burn it all down.
I haven't seen my dad since 2019, and I'm in a good place with that. And I have no hate in my heart for him. I have no, but I'm not longing or missing that person in my life. And I've come to a good place. And you know what? It's just a beautiful thing where I couldn't tell the story before though. I would tremble when I would tell, like I grew up with physical abuse from my father. He tried to kill me when I was 16. And when I found out he was cheating on my mom, and I was like, he took the beating way too far that I thought that was the last day for me. And I lived with it with no healing like yourself for decades. So what does a little girl do? And my mom wasn't protecting me in the sense because she was caught up in her own thing with him. And I learned how to become a survivor and a high performer from that. And when I say survivor, like I knew like I need to take care of my own self because who else is going to do it, right?
That
And
part.
this is where most people, when I see really high achieving women, I'm like, oh, something definitely happened because I'm reading patterns because you got your fuel from somewhere, baby.
Yeah. I remember you saying that to me when we were first on the phone, when you first met me at an event, you were like, I was just waiting. I was just waiting for you to come into my world because I knew it was going to happen because you could see it and you recognized those patterns like in me. That was cool. That was really cool and just showed your gifts to me so quickly. You just said something that you said something earlier, and I was thinking about this, and I'm just going back really quick because you said giving our kids like chores and things to do. When I was growing up, like that was normal. That is
Right.
completely shifted. Like it's completely shifted, and I am so freaking guilty of this, but I like we literally do everything to the point where some kids don't even know how to tie their shoes. And I think we're doing such a disservice as high achieving women to our children. And I had this as a big slap in my face when I'm like, my kids don't wash they didn't wash their own dishes. Like, but every day I had chores when I came home to make my mom's life easier to help. It was, then I think about back in the day, like 500 years ago, like that was family works together to support the household. Like we've come so far away from that and made it to where it's literally like we have to do all of these things. When was that like a moment for you that you were like, oh no, that's going to change? Or did the kids always have chores? Is that
No,
something?
they always did. I just was not a mom that was going to baby my kids to wake up in the morning for school. And if they didn't get up and they missed the bus, they had two times throughout the school year to do it. And after that, I don't care what grade they were in, that was trouble. And they made their own lunches. I just thought being self-sufficient, obviously, I did a lot of other things for them, but doing their own laundry, I felt like I was doing it all at one point when they were younger. But then after I got divorced and I was separated, I'm like, mom can only do so much. I need help from everybody. So I need you to do it. And then I switched things around. Like one child would load the dishwasher and the other one would unload it. So that's how, and sometimes they leave their plate here and there. I put it away for them. And now
Yeah.
they buy whatever they want. But cleaning up their bathroom was really important. And I let them decide. They have a Jack and Jill who's going to do the shower, who's going to do the toilet, whatever it is that works out with them. I feel like it gives them a sense of ownership. And now that my kids are at college, my son just sent me a picture a couple days yesterday when I was in, or day before I was in Phoenix. He's like, making chicken, mom. I taught him to make 3 or 4 things before he went to college. And I said, if you can make these things, you can survive and still buy food. But he knows how to make chicken breasts. He knows how to do a few things. And I think that's important for them. And my daughter too, like she has to have these life skills because I don't ever want them to be in a place where, what if something happened to me? I didn't give my kids things to survive in the world. Like my son trades stocks, which I didn't teach him. He taught himself that, but he has an ownership, a pride, and a confidence that he can do things. And if you take away your child's ability to build confidence, then how taking care of yourself, you build confidence, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so for every mother that's listening to this right now and says, but you don't get my life, you don't, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I can hear them right now. It's just different for you, Shamina. It's different for you, Marina. You guys make all this money, or it's easier for you. What's really happening? Why is she saying that to herself?
It's a belief, but it's also a sad story that she can tell everybody about how hard her
Yeah.
life. So it's like, I've got it really rougher than you. I've got all these things happening. And okay, you're right. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a single mom and I've been a solo mom for 13 years. My kids were 4 and 5 when I have no family here and I built a business out of dust. Okay. And so it's like when someone tells me that they can't, I'm like, if you're not equipped to do it, then okay. I went and figured out, learned, hired people, did whatever I could, saw someone doing it faster than me, learned, I invested, I went and healed myself. Because my kids mattered. I mattered. So when I see someone not doing it, I'm like, well, you just haven't decided that you want it bad enough. I had no plan fucking B. Excuse my language. I cussed 3 times already, but I have no plan B. And the moment that you have a plan B and it's not going to work out. I know your nervous system's dysregulated. You're not going all the way in. You don't trust the process. You're not ready for your next level. And so you got to figure out and ask yourself why. Like, why don't you want it bad enough? Are you in a freeze trauma response? What is it? So for me, I had only one option that it was going to work. And because I only had one option and my back was up against the wall, I put myself all the way in. And listen, entrepreneurship is like crazy. 1 month is big. Sometimes you don't go like this. Sometimes shit works. Sometimes shit doesn't. It's like about resilience and it's about being able to continue and having consistency and just keep growing at the same time. So many people have jumped ship from this industry that I've been in the last 7 years that I've been here, and I've watched people go back to their jobs or leave or whatever. And it's not for the weak, but it's for people who are willing to show up and realize that it's not you, it's the message and it's the impact. And if you could take yourself out of the equation in the sense of, okay, I have to be out there and be visible and do this because I'm changing lives. And so I look back, if I never showed up and I let my little self take over, then, and that little self is telling that person, poor me. And I do not allow victim mindset because if the moment that you say, you don't know about me, this is my story, you have committed to the lack and scarcity in your life. But when I see a woman going, just show me what to do, I got this, I can do this, I know that she's going to go so far because she believes, but she also sees the possibility. And those women go for the furthest. And sometimes women come to work with me because they need to borrow my belief, but they know they can do it. They just need to borrow the belief for a minute so that they can go rise. And that's what I'm here for. Because if you say you can do it, I'm with you on this. But I can't
Yeah.
tell you, I'm not going to drag you
Yeah.
over the line and be like, hey,
No.
I'm not pouring into people who don't try and make a difference anymore because those people are committed to it not working. So when they say that, I'm like, okay, you're right.
Yeah. Oh my God, this was so powerful, like beyond powerful. I know this is going to make a difference for so many of my listeners, but here's where I want to take us: delegating in their business. So for someone who is just starting, because I have a lot of people that are just beginning in their businesses, and you say delegate. I think a lot of them are like, okay, that means I have to spend money somewhere. And they have this, when you say delegate, give me some examples. And then what would you say to the woman that's freezing because of the thought of spending money to delegate?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that are going on. Usually it's, oh my gosh, look at this money. What am I going to give them to do? And then I don't feel supported or I can do it faster than them. So a lot of that behavior comes from like the micromanaging, that's control part. So this is where that wounded masculine comes in, where like I can just do everything. I can do it faster. 100% you probably could, maybe for some things. But I'll tell you, the moment that there's a psychological thing that happens, but there's an energetic thing and there's a frequency thing that happens. When I started my business, I'd met a client anyway. She said, I've got this VA. She's amazing. She supports 7-figure earners. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to get her to do? But I'm like, I think I need her. And I go, is there a set amount of hours that she has to work? She goes, no, I think you can work like 3 to 5 or whatever it was. I can't remember the time. And she was inexpensive. So I was like, she came on board. I only did one course and I had a couple clients. I didn't have much going on, to be honest with you, at the time. I'm like, but I knew I needed to get going. And so she'd be like, what are we doing this week? I hired her and I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, she knew how to use Kajabi better than me. And at the time I had that, I don't have it anymore. And I'm like, okay, I gave her a couple of things to do. She got them done. Literally, like I had a list of things that I get. She got them done so much. 1 hour, it took her to do things that would take me literally 15 hours. So it was
Yeah.
bullshit. I could do it faster. Okay. And because I had someone that was coming to me weekly asking, what do I need to do? My ass couldn't just sit there and just mess around because I
Yeah.
had an accountability partner I didn't even know about. I didn't even know I had somebody who was trying to take me to the gym at work. So because I had her and she was there and everybody wanted her and I got a piece of that, I'm like, baby, we're going to do this. So because that moment, you're never going to feel ready to hire somebody. It's a big step, but you should go out there and you should start. This is what I do. There's a list of things that need to get done in your business. I call them the have to do and then the want to do, and I would write down all the things that you need done in your business. Then I would go through and look at them and be like, which ones absolutely I don't want to do. Maybe you don't know how to do it, you don't want to do. Then you go and design the person that you need to hire. You say, this is what the job description is. You need to come in knowing go high level or this or that and the other. And these are the job qualities that I need. And these are the many hours. And this is what I'd like you to do. And then this is going to free up your time so that you can go be on the podcast. You can go do your social media content, that you can go write the book, or you can go speak on stages or work on your self development, because that also is very important to be working on yourself. And then your business keeps moving forward. So yes, the biggest money thing comes up. I can't afford it. That's a story, because listen, that woman who's doing, maybe she's 20 or $30 an hour. I don't know what they charge, but I think mine was like even less. Let's say it's $800 a month, but your business moves forward and you start making money. It's going to get the wheels turning and it'll keep you accountable. And you will have to keep showing up and you'll keep doing the work. And this is what your success will come from. I made $1 million from this move. I really believe that you doing it all is actually why most women can't scale. Like they can't get beyond the income that they're making. And to me, if you're the only one that makes the money, then you're never going to be able to scale your business to another place. It's
True.
going to be a very feast and famine type of thing where
Yeah.
you're going to be in constant hustle, dysregulated state if you have to do it all. And then you get to the point where you'll make the money and you'll be like, oh God, that was horrible. I don't want to
I'm
do that.
never doing that again. I
And
think
I
that's where a lot of
times
women
I've
are
heard it.
right
I
now.
don't want to do it again.
Yeah, I think that's honestly where I think a lot of women are right now because they hustled so hard. And you know, this is who you're coaching too, right? They hustled so hard for that million or that 2 million, or some of them that $1 million month. And they're like, I never want to do that again. And I'm like, but that's not why you're supposed to be showing up regardless. Like, you're not. I say it's an iconic movement. That's something I see that you've built is an iconic movement. And that's something that I've always done is build iconic movements. They're not emotionally all the way in with their mission. And that's because they're chasing the buck. And I just want to tell you, after I read your book, they're chasing the buck. Every single one of them, they're chasing it. And I was guilty of that back in 2020. I'll be 100 now, never. I don't want to be that human again. But I got to tell you, and I think I told you this, but I want to say it on here. After I read your book, I wrote my book in 72 hours. And I had sat on my book for 7 years. And after I read your book, I wrote my book in 72 hours.
I love
It's not as amazing as yours, but it's only 100 and something pages. But I did it. And I want you to know that I'm so grateful for you because you helped me step into the identity I already knew, but like I wasn't all the way in. And I'm grateful for you for that. And I just think you're incredible. And I just want to say thank you too. When I asked you to come speak, you came and spoke, you got on a plane, you like spent the whole
it.
time with my people, like you just went
I
all
was.
out. You really,
I was heading to Paris or something when I was there. And I had to find a room inside the VIP lounge where we were at.
yeah,
I was like, everybody go away. I gotta do this. I had my suitcase and my laptop on top.
did. I remember it was so good though. I had so many people in my inbox and I was like, now I got to get her to an event in person. And then you said
Thank
yes to
you.
that. And you just are a light. And I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate you for spending the last 56 minutes with me and my humans. Where can people find you, connect with you? Like, I'm going to put all your links to all your goodies in the show notes, but where do you like people to reach out to you the most?
You can Instagram. So if you want to come message me on Instagram, I think we have a freebie that we're giving you guys too. So you guys can, I think it's scale. Like I don't know which one it is, but we'll show you what you need to do for the identity shift. Listen, I'm really good at breaking the barriers and the ceilings that you've created. And so this is something that you want to do and you want to really get to your next level of income, whatever it is. This is where you can come reach out to me and connect. Also, I know you said you're going to do my book, but you can go get Unlocking the Quantum Woman, grab that book and you can listen to my podcast. I've had 3 or 4 4 women tell me that they listened to my podcast and had their highest cash months too, and they weren't even clients of mine. It's called Unapologetically Rich. It's on TV. It's actually being streamed on Roku and Amazon Prime and everywhere
Oh
else.
my
Yeah.
God, stop it.
We're gonna get big and bigger, 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 and we want to make a bigger impact. And I want you to see that everything that you want in your life is possible for you. Do not let your past or any beliefs or anyone else tell you that you can't, because I'm here to tell you, if she can, I can, and you can have everything in the world. And I really want to see women just step into this next level of who they can become, because we're not just changing ourselves, we're changing the women around us, but also our kids are watching and the generations that are to come. And if we as a collective can do this, we can change the whole trajectory of what's coming up next. And I think this world needs more of that, especially with AI coming in. We need the human connections. We need to have our emotions really be the forefront. And if you women can let your guard down and let your emotions come through, we're going to be the ones that they need to watch out for, because our superpower is our emotions. Okay.
Oh my God, I love you. That was incredible. All right, guys.